Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Sarsky, and we are going to get started on the Cuisenaire rods. This is your first one of 3 sessions in Cuisenaire rods. So this is the intro. If you haven't had a lot of opportunities to ever work with them or just want to maybe refresher, this is the place to start. So before we go too far, you're going to have this overview video. I will introduce some background information, maybe some places that you want to go to on your own. I'll give you some background information too on where you might get them. And then we'll have the hands-on video for part 1. And then right below that will be part 2 and part 3. We're not going to go back and do another review overview video. So begin with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are meeting from across Alberta on Treaty 6, 7, and 8 territories. And we honor and acknowledge all of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have lived, traveled, and gathered on these lands for thousands of years. We acknowledge that these lands are traditional meeting grounds, giving voice to its original peoples and the story of creation in a way that history has forgotten. So, what are Cuisenaire rods? As you can kind of see on the picture on the right-hand side, they're just little rectangular rods that have multiple colors, and each color has a different length. And we can use those to help students unpack several concepts that we teach in math. This isn't about just a young child in kindergarten or grade 1 counting and sort of looking at the colors. It goes well beyond that. It goes right into the junior high's understanding of concept or of fractions and working with those levels as well. So again, the foundational pieces that we do today will just be, if you've never worked with them, start small, and then we'll work our way up through all of the different parts of it. But you can see I've listed here for you the different areas that they could definitely support student learning in. And it's not short, that's for sure. The Belgian teacher, George Cuisenaire, is the person who actually developed the rods. He did so in 1945, and he was a music teacher as well, but what he saw was that, or in his feeling, it was that students were so engaged in learning music when they had instruments in their hands. Where was something that you could use for math? And he felt that students were missing out on that. Although he's the one who developed it, it's not actually George Cuisenaire who promoted it worldwide. It was the man by the name of Caleb Gatineau. And he's the one who really saw the wisdom in what he had created, what George had created. And he's the one who said, you know what, this potential for this with children in school is endless. And so he is the one who actually took his work and promoted it worldwide. So when you see a lot of information or a lot of work, you'll often see it as George Cuisenaire, Caleb Gatineau. So that's why you might see that come up. There's lots of information. I'm not sharing all that with you today, but what I did share with you was just an opportunity for you to have 3 short videos from the National Film Board. They were provided by Educational Solutions. They had them sort of archived. But what they do is they show Caleb Gatineau working with, and you got to watch at least one of them because you're going to say, the questions he's asking, no way, are those grade 1 students. But this is from 1961, and the grade 1 students are working with the Cuisenaire rods. So I just thought might be something that you might find interesting as well. But you can certainly Google any of those 2 names and you'll find lots of information, lots of resources, lots of books that both of them wrote. I'm not going to cover any of those right now or in this video. So where do I get them? You see this, maybe you don't have them in the school, and I would say they're the best kept secret in most schools. A lot of times we have them, but a lot of people have them in boxes and they go, I don't know what they are, don't know what to do with them. So you may have them before you go out and buy them. Go and check to see whether or not they are sitting in a primary storage room somewhere and maybe no one's using them. There's the little rods, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Deci racks. They're not as old as the rods themselves, but they've been around. So again, there's pieces that people have said, we've never seen those before. So I've listed for you, these are not the only places. There is nothing magical about any one of these. I'm not suggesting that you should go to one over the other because they all carry the rods. It's just, what are you looking for? There's different packages, whether it's an individual, just want a couple of replacement packages. I'm looking for some magnetic ones to put on the whiteboard while the kids are working on theirs. And I strongly suggest that's a good idea. So there's lots of different companies that you can go to. I did indicate where they have the racks and the rods. So Spectrum definitely has the racks. Canadian Educational Warehouse also has the racks. So those are places that you can just Google and check and see. They have different combinations of packages, sometimes in bins, sometimes in individual kits sold with a rack. So again, it's what you're looking for, but I just thought I'd point you in the right direction if there's some. And again, there's others too. If you have a favorite company that you order from, check with them as well. Are there some virtual locations that I can get access to working with Cuisenaire rods? And the answer is yes. But remember, I put it in red. Physical manipulation is the goal of this whole series. Is let's get them using their hands. If we have to get them standing up and moving, that's great, because that is the best way for our brain to learn. So we want to give students those opportunities. But I did put some in here. Again, I am not suggesting these are the only ones that are available. There's so many places that you can get them. So again, if you have a favorite site like Toy Theater, I haven't put that up there, but lots of people have that on their saved favorites because they've got lots of other opportunities. You've got them there too. So check to see what your favorite site is. I did list some of them as well that I use quite a bit, and that would be the Enrich from the University of Cambridge, because first of all, I go there because when you bring it up, there's nothing on there except the rods. And if we're going to learn it, and you'll see that when we go to the hands-on, that's my preference for starting points, is let's not fill their heads with all the info. Let's let them learn what they're all about. So that's the best way that I've found so far that we can do that virtually without attaching a bunch of information already up front for them. Mathagon is another one that a lot of you, I'm sure, are familiar with. It offers a whole bunch of different areas of mathematics you have access to. Again, and both Enrich and Mathagon offer tutorials. There's information in the University of Cambridge that they fill in behind. So if you're looking for some activities that are already done that you can do with them. So what if I don't want to do them virtually with the kids, but I'd love to have some ideas about lessons. The Enrich University of Cambridge has some really great ones there. So feel free to go in there behind. You'll see them listed in the menu on the side. Just go in and dabble. They post them by age, not necessarily by grade. Mathagon goes through and teaches you a bunch of tutorials too. How could I unpack this concept in math? How could I unpack this concept in math? And the same is offered by one of the newest ones off the sort of virtual world is Braining Camp. Again, this is another one where there's a lot of possibilities in there. And this is the one that is a subscription, but you have 2 to 3 months free to start with. So I would go in, sign up and see if that's something that works for you. I'm going to show you a slide deck here just on the end so you can see the differences. This is what Enrich looks like when you go into it. So I can drag the rods out. I can do the work that I want to do. So it's very much like if I had them in front of me. This is from Mathagon. I can turn the numbers off, but they come with the numbers on, and that's really where I think we should not start. And I just want to point out to you that there are what we kind of call standard colors. The original colors, or whatever you want to say, has the longest one in orange. There are newer versions out right now, and that's fine. They can be different colors. You just need to be aware, though, that most of the resources or most of the lessons you're going to have will be based on the old colors. Some of these, like Mathagon, has the new colors. And so again, you can use them, you can model them. Maybe that's what you're using in the classroom, that's what you ordered. But it also allows you to go back and pick standard colors. So you can change it within the program. Braining Camp offers a couple of things in it. One of them is I really like the fact that there's a pink in here, and the pink is the teacher, I get to build my rod. So this is a rod of certain length, right? And I want the students to unpack for me what the length is. It gives me a little bit more flexibility. So can we build different size numbers with these? Yes, you can. But that's just why I'm showing you that one. So again, there's lots to choose from. So if you're ready, what we're going to do now is if you have Cuisenaire rods in your school, maybe bring them up or bring them and have them in front of you, and then you can go along with me in the hands-on piece. If you don't, watching will be the best way to start. And then even if you wanted to do some of the work virtually, pick one of those sites, whatever one you want to explore, and you can do it alongside. Depends on how many screens you have available to you. All right, we'll see you over in the hands-on.